Do you think he's capable? I mean, I wonder if he's learned any lessons. Clearly, he's not retreating from Ukraine, but I wonder if he's learned any lessons from the invasion that has gone on right now. You know, everyone was predicting, to include close Russia watchers, that Putin's invasion in Ukraine would be a relatively quick affair, and certainly a bloody one and an overwhelming one. But we've learned a lot. One is that the air presence is not, from Russia has not been what was predicted. The cyber attacks have not been what was predicted. The army's getting stymied as a result of both the weather and the fierce fighting of the Ukrainians. And it starts to make you think, other than his nuclear weapons, what kind of military threat could he be to the rest of Europe? He's like incapable of even seizing the country that's right on his border. What happens if like, is he even capable of seizing Poland, for instance? It doesn't seem possible.
Well, look, you're right that this has gone militarily worse than Putin anticipated, and also worse for Russia than I think the American military projected. I think that's due to several things. Number one, most significantly, just the resilience of the Ukrainian people, that they're staying and fighting, that they're fighting heroically. You know, Zelensky, when the Biden administration offered to evacuate Zelensky, his response, "I need ammunition. I don't need a ride." That was powerful. That was leadership. And I think you're seeing the Ukrainian people. You're seeing grandmothers throwing Molotov cocktails. I mean, that's potent. There's no doubt, under a traditional measure, Russia should win this war. Their military is stronger. They have more troops. They have more weapons. They have more advanced weapons. So on paper, Russia is a dominant favorite. That being said, historically, people defending their homeland, there's a long history of people ferociously defending their homeland against invading armies. That there's a different motivation when you're defending the land you love and the people you love and your family than when you're invading and conquering foreign lands. I also think the S-300s, the anti-aircraft defense systems that the Ukrainians have done a better than expected job at limiting Russia's control of airspace. That being said, we should be doing much more. And I think there are two things in particular that America should be doing that we're not doing sufficiently. Number one, providing offensive military equipment to the Ukrainians. We should be providing Stingers and Javelins, which the Biden administration is finally doing. It halted military assistance twice last year. In April and December, it halted military assistance in an effort to pressure Zelensky to give in to Putin. But we're finally providing Stingers and Javelins. Those have been very helpful. The Stingers have been taking down Russian aircraft. The Javelins have been taking out Russian tanks with great efficacy. But we need to also be providing fighter jets. When we had the conference call with Zelensky 2 weeks ago, that was his number one ask, is fighter jets. Ukrainian pilots are ready to fly them, but they don't have sufficient jets to go head to head with the Russians. As you know, Poland has a number of MiGs, which the Ukrainian pilots are trained on. Poland has handed the MiGs over, but Biden won't give the MiGs to the Ukrainians. I think that's a serious mistake. We ought to be providing military equipment for Ukrainians to defend themselves.
Can you help us understand? Can you help our audience understand why the Poles just can't give the MiGs to the Ukrainians? Why does the United States need to be involved in that particular handoff?
So what happened is, take this back a week, or take this back 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago, Zelensky does a video conference call with all the members of Congress, and he says, "My number one need." We ask him, "What do you need?" It was actually striking. So the video conference call, it started off with Zelensky saying, "This may be the last time you speak with me, the last time you hear from me." And there's no doubt Putin wants him dead and is trying very hard. He asked everyone on the call, he said, "Please don't make it public till this call is over," because he didn't want his location revealed and Putin to be able to target him. He said at the outset of the call, he said, if the United States had sanctioned Nord Stream 2 last year, this invasion would not have happened. He said that flat out to every member of Congress. But then we asked him, "What do you need? What would make the biggest difference?" And he said, "What I need more than anything else is fighter jets, The Russians have air superiority. We need to be able to contest air superiority. The obvious jets that make sense are MiGs, because that's what the Ukrainian pilots are trained on. And you've got MiGs in a number of former Soviet bloc countries. Poland had a number of them. And so Poland was perfectly willing to allow the Ukrainians to use their MiGs. They were negotiating with the Biden administration because they wanted the Biden administration to backfill with F-16s,
right,
so that Poland would not be left defenseless. And so they were negotiating back and forth with the Biden administration, saying, "Would you give us F-16s so that we can have some air defenses?" The Biden administration was playing a political game. What they were saying publicly is, you know, Poland is a sovereign country. It can decide whether or not to give the MiGs to Ukraine. We have no view. We don't care. We're ambivalent on it. It's up to Poland.